Hey guys, Dark Silver Jesse here. Um, Sad news. The job I've been working at for the past 3 years, well, it'll be 3 years and 4 days, is going under. I've been a mechanic for the past 3 years, and I was I was enjoying it. Whenever I started, I was just the janitor. Uh, Come in, pick up the tools, clean the bathrooms, sweep and mop the floors, clean the offices, things like that. Uh, Here's my man card being tossed into the bonfire. Whenever I started, I couldn't even jack up a car that had a unibody on it. If it didn't have a frame, I didn't know where to put the jack. That's how bad I was when I started. Here we are 3 years later. I can do engine swaps, transmission changes. Uh, I could tell you the different parts of differential repairing. The truck I drive now is made up of two different vehicles that are combined together to make one working one. So, and it was just me doing it. But I'm going that route, letting you guys know that I was not the best mechanic starting out because, well, I'm a computer guy. Video games and videos. By the way, new hairstyle. And no, I don't have gel in it, so it's nice and frizzed out. Okay. Now, why is it closing? Why are we going down? It's not because we're a bad shop. Truth be told, everyone that I've talked to, everyone I hear from, says we are the best shop in town, or at least we're in the top 3 out of like 30 different shops. Definitely the best shop east of Van Buren is the one that I hear most often, which is a big thing because the majority of the shops are on the east side. And our prices aren't bad. We charge, I believe it's like $85 a book hour, where the city average is about $110 a book hour. So we're a lot cheaper than other shops. I'm not trying to sell you on the shop. Like I said, we're closing. What has happened is at no fault of the mechanics. Honest to truth, our lead mechanic, who is ridiculously fast, like any shop would be thanking God to have him, is leaving us to go work for the Air Force because he can make more money there, which our business has slowed down thanks to COVID. He was on flag hour. It's understandable. He was going to work for us in the mornings until noon, and then go to his other job at 1 o'clock and work till 10 p.m. there. I admire him for that. He was willing to stick around for it, and I thank you, Andy. And yeah, my cat just jumped in. They do that. I have 7 cats. 7 cats, 2 dogs. Our other mechanic, he is, well, he's like me. He's manically depressed. He'll have his days where he's really good, really on game, going full bore, and then other days he just wants to go into a corner and cry. I understand it. It's the way I am. There's certain songs that'll trigger me into crying. And then there's me, the third mechanic. I'm inexperienced. I'm faster than the mechanic with the most experience, but I'm not as fast as our lead tech. I don't have all the knowledge of the other 2 techs, but whenever it comes to something I can figure out, I get it done quick. Now, like I said, this is none of our fault. We're turning out projects as fast as we can. I'm not saying his name, but our slowest mechanic has been our slowest mechanic. He's turned out work at the same pace for the past 3 years. There are certain jobs that come in that would take us 2-3 days as regular mechanics to do that he'll knock out in a day. And then there's other projects that I can get done in an afternoon that take him nearly 3 days. It's been a constant source of debate whether or not to terminate him or not. And just as we're ready to fire him, suddenly a job comes in that he is super proficient at. And the rest of us can't even figure it out. So, with random back and forth, he pays for himself. We have no office personnel. The filing of paperwork is primarily on me. I take the income, the expenses, the sorting it out between our different contracts on the expenses so we know who to pay, when to pay, how to pay. And then we take whatever I filed and we send it off to this agency that is supposed to figure up our taxes and everything. And until recently, we've been using a tax attorney. And that was going all good and well. I say that with a bit of ire. Out of nowhere this year, I don't know if the guy just had a mental lapse or what, but he decided to screw over not over us, but 4 other companies. Took the money saying, hey, yeah, you owe us this much in taxes. We paid him the tax money so that he could pay the IRS, and then he just quit talking to us. Couldn't get him on the phone. He was never at his shop. It took a sheriff going in with a locksmith to open up his shop so we could get our documents back. We do have lawyers going after him for tax fraud, but the IRS still wants their money. And that's where we're coming into the big problem. We don't have the money to pay the IRS and stay open. The lawsuit against this guy is going to be 6 to 8 months, possibly a year, of trying to get our money back. And how much money we paid in, we can't. There's no way we can keep going and pay off the taxes and seek to get it back. Have to be careful because he'll jump up on me. Like I said, our lead tech is leaving because he needs more money, and we are now cut off from a substantial amount of money. Most business owners prepare for this kind of thing. They set money back for this kind of thing. For myself and a couple other business owners, I'm a former business owner. I used to own a computer store before the market died here. I lucked out, walked out with my money. Somebody else bought it that thought they could revitalize it, and they couldn't. Oh well. That being said, my boss had decided to ignore us, the previous business owners that were giving him good advice. Hey, keep money back. Write yourself a paycheck. Don't use the company funds as your funds. And yes, he was doing that. He treated the company, a place with 8 employees, as if it was a self-employed operation. That hurt really bad. And when you're trying to make payroll and you see the boss is out spending 10 grand on a toy, saying, oh, it's a tax write-off. No, you're not using that for company purposes. You're using that for personal purposes. It's not a tax write-off. Oh yeah, it is. We can move tools around with it. We can ride out to go work across the street with it. But anytime we did that, he yelled at us. Going on sporadic vacations. He wasn't dedicating himself to actually being in the shop. Most of his time, to be 1000% honest, was spent either at the bank or with his girlfriend. If he was at the bank, he was chit-chatting with the bank manager and talking about stocks. Not at his shop, not managing it, not overlooking everything, not dealing with customers. He acted like he didn't even want to be there. The way I feel is he wanted to just sit and make money. He wanted to be lazy, do nothing, and make money, which is the dream of all of us. Don't we all want that? I would love what I'm doing here, talking to you through this video. I would love for you to donate some money so I can go buy a pizza or buy some more soda. And yes, I'm sleeping on my couch right now. The air conditioner's right there. My room is back that way, and even with a fan on me, it is hot. That room stays that way. Snide look. But even that, we could have gotten around that with him being in that state of mind where he's going and hanging out with his girlfriend and going to the bank and, just BSing. Fine. We could manage ourselves. We've been business owners before. It's whenever he came back. When he would show up at the shop. And he would always show up. We figured it out. He was watching the cameras. And we are dang sure he was watching the cameras from his phone. Whenever we'd get whatever we were working on done, we'd all take a moment break. We'd chit-chat back and forth, maybe talk about a vehicle that's about to come in or one that came in that was giving us heck. We'd share information, but we'd be standing around talking. I was the salary employee. The other guys were flag time. I was salary because I was also janitorial and, of course, the paper filing. It's hard for him to set pay for that. And he didn't want to buy a time clock for me to clock in and out on whether or not I was being a mechanic or whether I was being a janitor. It was too much work. That's a theme with him on this. So, which I'll admit, I'm lazy. I will admit I am a lazy person. But still, I did my stuff. Whenever I got done with it, I'd go and rest. Or if I got overheated, I'd go sit in front of the fan in my office. If I was getting thirsty, I'd go get a drink. Just something to keep me going. Rather than work myself till I pass out on the floor and then they have to send me to the hospital for $2,000. Been there, done that, not fun. What made this the worst was my boss would listen not to business owners, not to previous business owners that had success until the end of their field. No, he would listen to the competition. We're a mechanic shop. He would go ask other mechanic shops, hey, how do you do this? When advertising, what company do you use? Hey, what's your idea on doing this? You don't do that. You don't go talk to your competitors about how to run your own business. That is the... You're going to burn yourself down to the ground, and that's what we were trying to tell him. And he would not listen. He had a banker that said, hey, go take out a $2 million loan. You've only got 10 years left to live because of your respiratory thing. Just get a $2 million loan. Go live your life. Just pay the interest so we don't have to come take anything back. And whenever you die, it goes on whoever takes over the debt. That was the advice from his banker. And my boss ran with it. He bought new vehicles. He bought travel trailers, or toy haulers as he called them. He bought Polaris Razor. He bought a boat. He bought jet skis. Yes, he took us out to the lake to go use the boat and jet ski, but it seemed more of a flex than a hey, let's have a good time. No, it didn't seem like a appreciation. It seemed like a see what I can do, and that's the way it felt. I stayed this weekend, which I found out Monday that I'm losing my job. I found out Monday that the company's closing. He didn't want me telling anybody. He didn't want me telling the other employees. It all came out Friday. I was sitting in the office filling out applications, and the other employees came in and asked me what I was doing. They asked me why I was leaving. And I said, well, we're about to shut down. He ain't selling any of the stuff. Some of them didn't even know he was auctioning off stuff. I mean, he's trying to sell our bulldozer, our alignment rack, vehicles. He was trying to sell a bunch of stuff, and that was my flag. He was trying to liquidate assets. It's like, okay, something's not right, and he wouldn't talk to me about it. And then I just straight up told him, are we closing? And he said yes. If we can't get 30 grand by the end of October, we're done. Because taxes are due November 1st. Sorry, mouth was getting a little dry. There are so many things that went wrong. Treating your employees like second-class citizens. Saying, hey, I make as much as you. If I wrote a check for myself, it would be the same as what I'm giving you. I'm sorry. My cabinets are full of ramen noodles. My fridge has hot dogs that are the on sale for $1 kind. Actually, I believe I paid 96 cents for them last time. Has stocked up. My food is what you would find at a Horn of Plenty. Yeah. A food bank is what they're called. I haven't had to use one in years. But I didn't go out and have steak dinners. I didn't buy Polaris razors. I didn't spend money the way he's spending it. So to tell me that he makes the same amount I do was just a blatant lie. And I knew it from the get-go whenever he first said it, because he had just bought a boat. I asked him how much he spent on the boat. He said $5,000. I'll take $5,000. Fuck, that's 2.5 months worth of my pay. You paid for that outright? And you have a nice house in a historic district? You'd have 2 nice trucks, a toy hauler, and a Polaris Racer? What? Guy couldn't even provide insurance. He couldn't keep insurance. I would see the bill come in. I'd hand him the bill to write the check for the company. And then I'd see a couple weeks later a letter come in saying they hadn't received payment yet. They were dropping us. And he'd tell me, oh, don't worry, I'll handle it. I'll call him. It didn't happen. We lost our insurance, and right now I need medical insurance. Bad. Sorry, I had to check what was going on my screen here. I have to have a CAT scan done of my abdomen for a mass that they think could be cancer, could be tumor, could be cyst, could be hernia. Uh, Only one of 3 doctors thinks it's a hernia. So I was going to go to Texas Renaissance Fair this year, the TRF, and that has to be canceled for me. Luckily, I hadn't paid the $90 for tickets yet. I was going to go down with friends and have a good weekend. Now I'm going to be, depending on which job calls me back first, I'll probably be stocking shelves in a seasonal position at a Harbor Freight. I mean, it is what it is. I would love to say I don't resent my boss for what's happened, but it's 100,000% on him, and he's acting like it's not. My dad, which my boss is my brother, I'll let that be out there. I'm sure you've heard it in another video, but my dad came to work for us as a truck driver. Okay, we had 3 semi-trucks. He's going to drive a semi-truck, earn the company some money that way. Trucking is not a consistent money maker. It's not. You look at all these trucking companies and you'll see rolling layoffs, seasonal layoffs, term layoffs, and then they'll come back through and hire everybody back that has been on unemployment for weeks. And it's like, oh, what's going on? Unless you're running freight for Walmart or Target, you don't have a constant flow. We started off hauling fracking sand. Then fracking fell out. The bottom fell out of it. Well, they were still making well pads, so we started hauling rock. Okay, fine. I told him start storing money back because there's only so many well sites that we can run rock to for pads. It's going to run out. Oh, don't worry, the oil industry is going to come back. It's going to be good. Nope. COVID hit. Oil prices dropped out. Trucking came to a stop. My dad now unable to make money. What'd my brother do? Yeah, come be the manager of the shop. My dad's no mechanic. He thinks he is. But almost everything he touched, either I or the lead mechanic would have to come in and fix. He went to wire in a brake light, and he crossed the turn signal and brake light and run light so that they were all on at the same time whenever you hit the brakes. That was fun to trace down. He was working on his own, which this is a show. My brother talked my dad into trucking and paid him trucking wages, which was nearly triple what I make. That hurt. But that triple, my dad went out and bought a Can-Am Maverick. The first week he had the Maverick, he was messing around with the plastic, trying to put some lights on, trying to rerun wiring the way he wanted to wire it, not the way that I told him, hey, this is how it's done. No, he wanted it his way, and he wound up putting a self-tapping screw through the wiring harness and catching the thing on fire. Luckily, he caught it in time, so the whole thing didn't burn down, but 13 wires had to be replaced in their entirety. And that's the way it's been for 2-3 months. Was my dad just being around the shop, being up everyone's butt, playing on his phone, watching TikTok, and just he would narc back to my brother if any of us stopped. Because of my issue in my stomach, I have to go to the bathroom 3, 4, 5 times a day. Either I'm severely constipated, in pain, and can barely bend over, or I've got diarrhea. And it'd be, oh, Jesse's been in the bathroom for 30 minutes, whenever I had just walked in there. I had just shut the door and started going. And he'd badmouth and bad talk everybody. Oh, Neil's been standing at his box the whole day. Sorry, didn't mean to name drop. But the slow employee's been at his box all day, playing on his phone. Well, Dad, where have you been? You've been in the front office, sitting in the side chair next to my desk, playing on your phone, watching TikTok. You've been watching the cameras. If a customer came in, he'd rather talk to them about their day and what all they do and everything, rather than get their information, get their keys, and get them out the door. And Justin was the same. My boss, Justin, he is the same. He would rather talk to the customer about what's going on in their lives, like a counselor would, than get their information, document it, and get them out the door. It was so frustrating whenever Justin was there, because, one, the shop phone was his cell phone. You called the shop number, it went to him. If he was at his bank, hey, guess what? You just went to voicemail. If he was with his girlfriend, voicemail. And so we were losing customers that way. Nobody could talk to him. Nobody could set up an appointment because he was too busy socializing. And whenever they did come in, it was, hey, yeah, I was that guy that left you the voicemail about this car. Here's my keys. Okay, bye. Justin would be like, all right, set the keys down on the desk, walk away. Me or one of the other mechanics would come in, see the keys, go, well, what are these two? Oh, well, they're to that car out there. Well, what's wrong with it? I'll have to go back through my voicemails and find out. Why didn't you write it down? We have a sheet right there. Plus, we can't legally test drive this thing without that sheet signed. It was the disclosure agreement for us to be able to drive people's cars. He wouldn't take their name, phone number, car information, what was going on. So a good 30 to 40% of our vehicles coming in, we had no clue what was going on until Justin showed back up, which was for about 3 to 4 hours a day. Out of a 9-hour day, he'd be there 3 to 4 hours. That was it. In a small shop. 3 mechanics, an owner, a truck driver, and occasionally 2 other truck drivers. So, yeah. It was so disappointing. And I would love to be able to save the company. I really would. I like the job. But unfortunately, the boss needs to change his attitude. And I think it may be too late for that. Can I go get another mechanic job? Probably. Am I good enough to get accepted at said jobs? No. My training is in advanced robotics. My experience is in customer service. And for the past 3 years, I've been apprenticing as a mechanic. So, it is what it is. I would love to be doing this. Granted, better content than me ranting. But I would love to do this as my job. So would every other high schooler out there. But I got to get rid of my ums and ahs, and I have to learn how to edit. And editing software is not cheap. But if you're seeing this and want to help me out, I do have Patreon and my Streamlabs and all that It's all under Dark Silver Jesse. Should be some links down in the description. They autofill in there, so if you want to help me out, great. If not, that's fine. You're watching the video that gets me some overall views, and maybe later on down the road I can get my partnership back. Final note before I end it out. Checked with my state's food stamps, their SNAP. Apparently my ex from 10 years ago, ex-fiance, has had me on her food stamps for 10 years. I just caught it today, emailed it in, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need food stamps, and if she's been pulling off of my name, yeah. Dark Silver Jesse signing out. Have a good one. Peace.